Wow. So, September 19th, 2013, I met my idol, my hero, my everything, Taylor Swift. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Back in December of 2012, I was getting tickets to see Taylor Swift. And originally, I had awful seats. I stayed out of school, like, missed school that day just to, like, sit at home and try to get tickets to her concert. But if you've ever tried to buy tickets to Taylor's concert, you know that it's literally impossible. So I had seats in, like, the 300 or 400s, I don't even remember. And me and my friend were planning on meeting up. And so when I told her my tickets, she generously went and bought me the club, like, the ultimate VIP red experience. So I then was going VIP with my friend to a Taylor Swift concert. And wow, the 285-day wait began, and I felt like the day would never get here. We went up to Tennessee the day before the concert. Next morning we got up and we got ready. We had planned huge outfits because if you're a big Taylor fan, you obviously know what Club Red is. And, I mean, for every goal for a Swiftie to try to meet her. So that's what we were planning, and we had these huge extravagant outfits with lights and tutus, and this is a picture of us by stage with our outfits because we had third row, and so we were really, like, where the catwalk comes out, we were really close, like, next to it, and so we got pictures by it. So for the Red Tour, the Ultimate Experience VIP, you got to go to a pre-party. And so we got there early and we checked in, and they give you an autographed CD from Taylor, just the regular red CD, which I think this is my 6th one I have, because I have like every edition of it that they did. If you're a big Taylor fan, you know that the different stores had different editions of it. I have all of them. And then I bought some for my friends to give away, so I have a ton of these, but this one's autographed, so it's my favorite. And then they gave you this wristband. If you're wondering, it's on my arm. We wrote all of Taylor's songs. And then in this arm, we had lyrics to Red, but it's coming off. And so you went in, and at ours, they had a nacho bar. And, like, you walked through, and it was just, like, a huge nacho bar, and you went through, and you got your food or whatever. And then you went to a room, and they were, like, blasting Taylor Swift, and they had a candy bar, and they had some of Taylor's outfits, and they did giveaways and stuff, and then there was, like, a place where you could get photos taken. As you were going in, there was, like, the red carpet, yeah, and you got your pictures taken there. And then you could leave, you could go in and out of this room until, like, 7 o'clock, and we left, like, 10 minutes before 7 to get to our seats. And so we got down there, and then the first opening act was Casey James, and Ed Sheeran came out. And while Ed was on, Taylor's mom was walking right in front of us. She was bringing a group down from the who had bad seats. She was bringing them to the floor. And like, as soon as everyone saw her, of course she was getting, like, mobbed, pretty much. And me and my friend were going to go try to get a picture with her or something. She had only taken pictures with the group she had brought down. But then as soon as she saw me in my friend's outfit, she, like, came right over to me and gave me a hug. And then she was like, let's take a picture. Like, she asked me, like, to take one. And so I got my phone out and we took a picture, and it's this one. It's really bad lighting because of our lights and the lights from the stage. It kind of, like, contrasted really bad. It's okay, I got pictures with her later. And so it was really cool, and it kind of, like, it gave me more hope, I guess, because I was like, wow, Mama Swift wanted a picture with me, like, I don't know. But it was still, like, I had dreamed about Club Red for days, years, Tea Party from, like, last tours, and I'd seen people, I'd watched vlogs of people, but I never imagined it happening to me. And, like, when I got there, I thought, I had more hope. I was like, oh, she wanted a picture with me, maybe that's good. But then I was kind of losing hope because so many people had such extravagant outfits that made mine feel, like, so awful. And so Ed went off, and Taylor came on. And I started dying. If anyone has seen videos or been to the Red Tour, she opens with State of Grace, and it's a curtain and you see her shadow. And I've been a fan of Taylor for about 8 years, and I've never been able to see her in concert. And so it was, when you've loved someone that long and like truly like no one even understands how much I adore Taylor Swift. And seeing her in person, and I started crying. And she was so close to me, I couldn't even contain myself. And the concert was absolutely phenomenal. She's like literally like the best entertainer. And like it's just so extravagant. Like the show they put on, like everything that the backup dancers do, the costumes, the outfits, everything is so extravagant. It's amazing. And when she sang 22 and she falls into the crowd, she fell like right next to where our seating is, and so I like ran over and I almost touched her then, but there was a little girl in front of me, so I couldn't quite reach her, but she was like so close to me. And then we chased her to the B stage. Not really chased her, but we were just kind of like following her. There was a lot of fans that were following her, and so she sang a few songs at the B stage, and I stood there the whole time at the B stage, and her surprise song was Our Song, which was amazing because it was one of Taylor's first songs, and like it was so cool to hear because I was obsessed with that song when it first came out years ago, and to like hear her singing it years later after everything was really cool. And so then when she was singing her last song on B stage, me and my friend went back to where our seats were by the main stage. So from like me on, I was crying, and All Too Well. I was crying for a lot of reasons at that point because it was just so like emotional. Like if you've ever been to a Taylor Swift concert, you probably understand that it's so like overwhelming. I was so overwhelmed that I was like standing there in front of Taylor because like she's one of my like literally favorite person in the world. Like I've loved her for years, and I couldn't believe that she was there. Her speech was making me cry. The music was making me cry. And then it was towards the end of the concert. She only had a few songs left, and so I'd kind of given up hope on Club Red. And I have to say I did. I guess I had got my hopes up. I mean, I wanted to meet her so bad, and I had thought about Club Red. I had watched everyone's vlogs. I had just put in so much into wanting it. And it was kind of like I had accepted I wasn't going to meet her. And so I was crying for like all those reasons. And so I cried all those last songs. And then when it got to Never Getting Back Together, which is her encore song, the last thing she does, I was like, Gracie, stop crying. You have to just enjoy the last thing, because I was just a wreck. And so I was just jamming. I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, whatever, I didn't meet her, I'm here, but it's Taylor Swift. Like, and it was one of my favorite songs. I was like, I'm just going to enjoy the finale. And so, I mean, I was jamming. I was, like, going all out. And then when she got to the second verse of the song, out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone, like, walking in the aisle, and, like, they had to keep the aisles completely clear. So I was like, oh, who is that? And I looked, and it was Andrea. And I was like, it just kind of, like, hit me. And so I screamed. Just, I don't know. I was like, oh. And then, like, Taylor got back. It was going back into the chorus at this point. And so I was just kind of, like, jamming. And then I felt someone grab my arm. And I mean, literally, it was the last song. I had given up all hope. I was like, she's giving out all the passes, like, it's over, this is the last song. But then I felt someone grab my arm, and I looked over, and it was her mom. And that's when it kind of hit me, like, why else would her mom be grabbing me? And her mom looked at me and said the words. She looked at me and said, have you ever met Taylor? And when she said that, I lost it. And I just shook my head. And she was like, I mean, at that point, I think she probably already knew that I knew what was going to happen. And she's like, well, I want to invite you to Club Red to meet Taylor after the show. And she was like, how many are in your party? And I was literally, like, compulsively sobbing. I've never in my life cried that much from happiness. Like, ever. I hardly cry that hard from, like, sadness, much less, like, happiness. Nothing's ever made me cry that hard. And here's some pictures of my reactions. And the video man who was standing behind her recorded me the whole time and was literally in my face because I was going insane. And everyone around me was, like, congratulating us because it's like everyone wanted us to get in. People kept telling me, like, you have to get into Club Red, you have to get into Club Red because of our outfits. And so, like, everyone was congratulating us. It was really cool, and it was so weird. Andrea was like, okay, we'll have someone bring you your pass and stuff. And so it's like she walked away, then someone came over to me and handed me the Club Red little pass, which my friend has it. But we got this ticket. And then they put this bracelet on me. And it just says Club Red and then the date. And I was going insane. And the guy was recording me the whole time because they're making a club, the Red Tour DVD. And so it's going to be, like, cool, really cool if I'm on there, but also really embarrassing because of how much, like, how insane I was going, so how much I was crying. But, like, the last song was all a blur to me. I don't even remember, like, anything happening. But it was, like, when she handed me the ticket, and to put this on me, confetti, like, started falling because it was, like, the finale song, and they did confetti that, like, came from the ceiling. And, I mean, it's part of every concert. They just, like, make confetti come because it's, like, the finale. But it was so weird because it was, like, right as she handed me the pass for Club Red, it started falling. So it was, like, celebration of me getting Club Red. And it was so emotional. I couldn't stop crying. And everyone was, like, trying to congratulate me, and I just was, like, nodding my head to them because I couldn't even speak. And then I texted my mom because my mom had seats in the 300s. And I told her, I was like, come to section 103 now. We got Club Red. And so then as soon as, like, Taylor went off stage and the lights came on, I was, like, freaking out. And, like, I was freaking out so much that, like, people from rows and back were, like, noticing me. So people came up to me and were like, give this to Taylor, like, gave me flowers to give her and, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, have fun meeting Taylor. And I was, like, couldn't even believe that I was meeting her. Like, I was going to meet Taylor Swift. Like, I couldn't get that in my head. And so I was just walking, I was, like, holding the pass, and, like, people were like, oh my god, she got in. And I ran to section 103, and then I saw these other girls who had gotten it, and we were like, oh good, other people with Club Red. And so we all kind of, like, sat there, and then we found the group of people who had been invited in. And then a lady came over and told us all to sit down and was telling us the rules. And she was like, no selfies with Taylor, no making vines, no getting her to call your friends because it's happened before. And she's like, you can walk in there and you can take as many pictures as you want, but then when we tell you to put your phone and cameras away, you have to put it away. If we have anyone else take them out, we're going to have to ask you to leave the room. And then she said when Taylor comes in, you can have one picture per person, and or one picture per group and one autograph per person and no more. And they were, like, really strict about it. And they made just, like, hold our arms out with the passes and, like, promise to not, like, do anything else. And so we got into the room, and it was incredible. Like, we walked through, like, 4 hallways to even get to, like, the place where Club Red was. And then I saw the setup. And that's the picture. And it was just, like, Club Red on all the sides. And I was like, I'm going into Club Red. Like, I had seen pictures of people going in. I had watched videos of it. But it was me. Like, it was me going in there. And then the room was incredible. It was like a tent, and then in the middle it had a thing with pictures of Taylor, and then there was pizza, which I don't know how you could eat when you're about to meet the freaking queen. And then they had, like, candy. They had, like, M&Ms and Skittles, I think. I didn't get anything. And then they had a photo booth over there, like, in a corner. And we were in line to get in the photo booth because they told us Taylor would be a while. When the lady came in and said, okay, everyone, cell phones away, cameras away. And she was like, everyone get into your groups with people. And she, like, spread us out across the room. I was like, oh my god, this is it. Taylor's coming in. At that point, it had only been, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 minutes. And so I was like, wow, she's coming in. Well, no. It was still maybe about 30 minutes after that she came in. And someone, like, a lady came into the room and was, like, looking behind her. And I was like, this is it. And then Taylor came, like, bouncing in there and, like, jumped, and she's like, hey guys, it's Taylor, and you're probably all gonna get sick now. And because she had a cold. And I was the 5th group. She was going through all the groups, and I was the 5th group that she came to. And I was just, like, watching her the whole time when she was at the group in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, I'm next. Like, Taylor Swift is coming to me next. And as soon as she finished with those girls, she came over, and I didn't even know what to do. I hugged her. And I don't even know how long we hugged, but it was for a long time. I was just, like, holding her. Like, when you've loved and admired for someone for so long, it was crazy that they were standing in front of you, like, in your arms, and that out of 15,000+ people in the auditorium, and there were like 9 groups in there. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't even, like, fathom what was happening. And then she hugged my friend, and then we had cat ears on, part of our costume. And she's like, your ears are soft. And that was the first thing she said to us. And she's like, when I was doing the 22 music video and we had cat ears, they were, like, really sharp and pointy, and, like, and then she was, like, grabbing the head, and she was like, and they were, like, stabbing me. And she was, like, playing with our ears. And she was like, they were just really sharp, but I appreciate that your ears are soft. And it was really cute. And then we just started talking. It wasn't, like, rushed or quick at all. We talked for about 10 minutes, and which was, like, a lot. To talk to Taylor Swift for 10 minutes was, like, mind blown. And we talked about music. We talked about, like, our arms, because we had written all the songs that she sang on this arm. And then this arm did have, like, the lyrics, you can still kind of see it, to red. And we had it, like, color-coded, like, Losing Him was blue, was, like, written in blue. And then Losing Him was dark gray. Like, we had everything, like, color-coded, and Loving Him was red was obviously in red. And she's like, I love how organized this is, and it's all color-coded. She's like, man, y'all really put thought into that. And she's like, now let me tell you a tip. And I'm like, yeah. And then she was like, it was so cool. She was, like, holding my arm, like, I don't know why, just, like, rubbing my lyrics. And she was like, I'm going to tell you how to get this off, because I used to write on my arms for every single concert, which obviously I knew, which is why I did that in, like, the 13. And she was like, this is how you get it off. You want to know? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, hairspray. She's like, just put hairspray all over your arm and it comes right off. Which it actually kind of does. Because I hairsprayed this part off to see if it worked, and it did. I was like, alright, that's cool. And we talked about that, and then we had all these bracelets for her. This is the Speak Now one, and this is, like, the red one. This is the red one again, and then the VIP ones. And my friend had on a Rockstar Ronan bracelet, which I hope you guys know who Ronan is. If you're a Swiftie, you do. And as soon as, like, she said, I have Rockstar Ronan bracelets on, Taylor was like, oh my god, don't make me cry. And my friend was, like, telling how she had read the blog, and Taylor was like, I can't do this, I'm gonna cry. And it was, like, it was really sad. And so then, my name's Gracie. And Taylor Swift had a song called Gracie that she never released, but she had done an acoustic or like just a guitar recording of it forever ago, and it was leaked online. If you guys have ever heard that, it's just a song named Gracie, and it was about a little 5-year-old who had cancer. And so I told her, I was like, I heard your unreleased song Gracie, and it was really cool because it's my name. And she was like, what? And she was like, I don't even remember that. And I was like, I was like, it was written about that little girl with cancer. And she's like, yeah, I remember the girl, Gracie. She still comes. And I was like, do you still see her? And she's like, yeah, she still comes to the show sometime. And she was like, Gracie is, like, the cancer surviving story. And, like, she was like, she's just perfectly normal now. Like, she's so perfect. And she was like the chemo didn't mess up her brain. Like, she's okay. And I was like, what kind of cancer did she have? And she was like, it's leukemia. And she's just perfectly good now. And I think she's just 13 or 14. I don't remember. And Taylor had written the song, I think, when she was 12, is what Taylor said. And she was like, yeah, that was probably one of my stupid demo recordings that I went out passing around to people. And then she imitated herself, and she was like a little nerd, and she was like, hey, I'm Taylor Swift, take my album. And she said that's what, like, because she went up to people, like, begging people to take her CDs. And she said she thinks that was on one of the ones that she passed out to people. And she was saying how embarrassing it is that people are leaking those songs, because she said they were so awful, and, like, it was funny because I think they were really cute. And so we talked about that, and then we talked about Mean, the song Mean, and we were talking about, like, boyfriends and relationships and mean people. And I told her I'd never had a boyfriend, and she told me to never have one. That boy sucked, stay away from him. And she was just kind of telling us some things about, like, really, like, things that she'd been through and stuff, and we had a cute moment. It was cool. And then she signed our autographs, and I completely freak out every time I see it. And she put I Love Gracie, and it's her name, and I didn't even, like, ask her to, like, she just wrote that on there. And then we were going to take pictures. And you were supposed to hand your camera to a lady who came around and would take pictures of all of you. Like, you could take them with your camera, which is amazing. And so they were going to take them with my friend's camera, and at first, like, the picture turned out really bad because the flash wasn't on. So we were trying to turn the flash on, and, like, we couldn't get it to work. And so I grabbed my phone, and I was like, well, let's just take it. And I, like, I have an iPhone. And so I, like, flipped the cover, and I was like, let's take it on my phone. And, like, I had opened it, and it was, like, on the front camera. And I was just, like, offering my phone out. I wasn't trying to do anything, like, against the rules, but Taylor was like, oh, secret selfies, because she's, like, saw herself on my front camera. And so I took selfies with Taylor Swift. And I was like, oh my god, Taylor, like, I was like, the ladies is gonna murder me, she's gonna kick me out of here before I even get my picture with Taylor. But she didn't care, because Taylor, like, initiated it and asked. And so I got selfies with Taylor Swift, which is probably my greatest life accomplishment. And so we took two of those, like, two selfies with her. And then there was, like, another one that I had taken from, like, below, because I was scared the lady was gonna, like, yell at me when Taylor said that. She was like, oh, secret selfies, and so I, like, snapped it, but then they said we could, like, they let us, like, take them, and so I actually got real ones. And then we ended up taking another picture on the camera. And then she, like, hugged us, and we were talking more about, like, cats and boys and the shows, and it's hard to remember everything that happened. And that was it. Then she went to the next group, and then I hugged her again, and I told her I loved her, and she was like, I love you too. And I was like, I couldn't believe it was happening to me, and it was crazy. And then I went over, she also, like, she was so sweet, she went and hugged all of our parents, and talked to them too. And then she went to the next group, and then I went to sit down, because you could still wait in there, like, while Taylor was going around. And Andrea was in there, and she was with, like, our parents, and, like, I mean, out of all the groups in there, like, she stayed with us the entire time. It was crazy. And so I talked to her mom for close to an hour, I guess, maybe a little less, but she was with my parents before, so she was, like, with our group for, like, an hour. It was cool. And she literally was telling us from the start how Taylor got started, who gave her first guitar, and how much she had learned, how much she had done, and literally told us, like, every single detail of how she got started, and, like, the first song she had written, and everything that had happened when they moved out to Tennessee, and, like, it was, like, every detail. And it was really cool to hear that, because, I mean, even though I knew most of it, because I know a lot about Taylor, it was cool to just hear it even more in detail, and, like, coming from a direct person. And she said that she was in the balcony, like, the top level, because she had just given a group Club Red, and she had, like, 2 or 3 passes left to give out. And she said she was just looking around, scanning the crowd, and she said she saw these 2 lights, like, bopping up and down on the floor. And she was like, that's the people I want in. That stands out to me. And now that, like, Taylor knows I exist, Taylor's mom knows I exist, I mean, they probably have already forgotten me, because it was a couple days ago, and she's met billions of people, and she probably won't remember me, but in that moment, Taylor Swift knew I existed, and it's, like, all I could ever ask for, to get to meet her after all these years, after, like, always seeing other people get it, always seeing it happen to other people, and then it happens to you. Like, it was unbelievable, and definitely not something I will never, ever forget. And now for tips of getting into Club Red, because, well, this is the tips that I have for getting in, of how I got in. So the main thing is the outfit. You can't just wear a t-shirt and shorts and, like, expect to get into Club Red. You can't. You have to stand out. Get the craziest costume you can. And, like, for this tour, it was easy. Red. Like, we had a way to base it. We had red. But for, I mean, anything, get the craziest thing you can think of. And don't leave out a detail. If you think your outfit's crazy and cool, then it's not crazy and cool enough. It has to be bigger. And I mean, get out every detail. From head to toe, we painted our nails. We had the cat ears. We had boas. We had lights. That's the biggest thing, is lights. Because you can have an extravagant costume, but when the lights are off, no one can see you. So you have to have something on your costume with lights. If you have floor seats, you're not allowed to have a sign. So you have to put the lights on your body, somehow incorporate them on your body. If you have, like, higher up level balcony seats, you're allowed to have a sign. And that's a big part. Have the craziest sign you can make with as many lights as you can make, and even put lights on yourself. Just key is lights. You have to light up, because that's how Taylor's mom told us we got in, is our lights on us. Get the brightest lights you can find. You can buy battery operated lights on Amazon, and just get as many lights on you as you can possibly get on you. And just do the craziest outfit you can. The biggest poster. If you don't have floor seats, get the biggest sign and poster you can, and just go crazy. Don't ask. Like, if you see your mom, don't ask about it, because I've seen or heard, like, people who would ask her for it and didn't get it. Like, don't ask her. Just, like, go up to her mom and just talk to her, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, if you see your mom, that's a good thing, because her mom is who takes people in. But just go crazy. Like, just go crazy at the concert, because her mom takes who she thinks is, like, or who, like, stands out, the most dedicated, like appearing fans. So the costume is the main thing. The lights, and just go crazy. Have a good time. Don't make it your focus, because, I mean, you're at a Taylor Swift concert. That in and of itself is amazing. But don't make it the main focus, because then it'll kind of ruin everything else. And you just, I mean, the chances of getting in are really slim. It's hard. I mean, there's so many people, and only a few get picked. And if you don't get picked, don't give up. I mean, there'll be more concerts you can go to. There'll be more tours. There'll be more opportunities. And I'm just extremely, extremely lucky that the first concert I went to, I got picked. And you can't give up. You have to keep going. It took me 8 years to meet Taylor. Like, I mean, I guess the biggest tip I have is the outfit. The outfit, the costume. I mean, don't just wear, like, a t-shirt and have one poster. Like, it has to be huge. It has to be big. It has to be something that other people don't want to think of. Like, and who knows, maybe you'll have Taylor Swift's mom pulling your arm saying that you can meet Taylor. So that's how it happened for me, and it's unbelievable. So anyone going to the New Zealand and Australian concerts, good luck with Club Red. Guys, for other tours in the future with these VIP meet and greets or picked meet and greets, whatever, good luck to all you guys, and don't give up. It can happen.